Good morning. On behalf of the Winston-Salem Police Chief Katrina A. Thompson, I welcome you to the October City of Winston-Salem Public Safety News Conference. I am Wilson S. Weaver II, Assistant Police Chief over the Patrol and Special Operations Divisions. This morning, the Winston-Salem Police Department will initiate the news conference. We will be followed by the Winston-Salem Fire Department and Fire Chief William Trey Mayo. We'll conclude with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Office of Emergency Management with Director Mel Sadler. As we begin, I'd like to thank the women and men of the Winston-Salem Police Department for all of your efforts to keep our city, our residents, our visitors, and our businesses safe so that we may live, work, and relax in a safe environment. As we begin the police department portion, we'd like to honor the Winston-Salem police officers that have lost their lives in the line of duty during the month of October. For the month of October, Sergeant Mickey Gray Hutchins, end of watch, October 12th, 2009. Sergeant Hutchins was killed after responding to a call regarding domestic violence at a local restaurant on Peters Creek Parkway. Upon arrival, the offender fled from officers and opened fire at close range on both Sergeant Hutchins as well as Officer Daniel Clark. The offender was killed by the police. Sergeant Hutchins was a 27-year veteran of the Winston-Salem Police Department. He's survived by his wife, Beth, and his 2 daughters. Tomorrow morning, the Winston-Salem Police Department will hold a fallen officer ceremony in front of the Public Safety Center, 725 North Cherry Street at 8 a.m. in the morning. Let us take a moment to honor all law enforcement personnel that have made the ultimate sacrifice for their communities and for their country through their service and employment in the law enforcement profession. Thank you. This morning, the Police Department will begin with a presentation to our 2016 Officer of the Year, Officer Nick Powell. That will be followed by Lieutenant Eric Montgomery, who will discuss October being Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. We'll have a presentation by Lieutenant Michael Cardwell of the Criminal Investigations Division on a 2016 cold case. And we'll conclude with Investigator Stephen Horsley speaking again on the challenge we're having with auto breakings across the city. Okay, for the presentation for Officer Nick Powell.
Good morning. My name is Rob Simon. I'm with Windsor Jewelers here in Winston-Salem. And one of the greatest honors we have every year is to help recognize the Police Officer of the Year. We have a lot of wonderful things that go on in our community, and we know, just as being a retail merchant, we rely on the protection of the police force during the year. It means much to us. But what really means something to us is what we do as a community. We're all in it together. And we understand that our neighbors, our employees, our relatives, we all need this great protection from the police department, and we get it. And we're so honored today to be able to congratulate Officer Nicholas Powell, for the 2016 Officer of the Year. And I was just wondering, should I? Okay, everybody has that. So I just wanted to make sure that that's out. Anyway, Nick, along with support from the Hamilton Watch Company, Windsor Jewelers is happy to present you with this wonderful Hamilton watch. And congratulations of surviving those injuries you sustained. That is an amazing feat in and of itself. Congratulations with that, and we'll certainly adjust the bracelet for you. We'll have to make sure that we get some pictures taken. We can turn this way.
Thank you. And the Winston-Salem Police Department would like to officially thank Windsor Jewelers for your recognition of our 2016 Officer of the Year, Nick Powell. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Now, Lieutenant Eric Montgomery will be discussing Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month for the month of October.
Good morning. My name is Eric Montgomery. I'm a lieutenant within the Police Department's Criminal Investigations Division, and as stated, I want to discuss the Police Department's 2017 domestic violence initiatives. October is recognized nationally as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The Winston-Salem Police Department has made great efforts over the last few years to recognize and honor survivors, educate our friends, families, communities about this uncomfortable issue in hopes of preventing future domestic violence. This is important because the devastating physical, emotional, and psychological consequences of domestic violence can cross generations and last a lifetime. Domestic violence affects individuals in every community, regardless of age, economic status, sexual orientation, gender, race, religion, or nationality. On October 6th, the police department collaborated with Family Services of Forsyth County for the Day of Unity. Our silent witness silhouettes were on display, and they will also be on display at various locations throughout the month of October. During this event, Winston-Salem Mayor Alan Jones made a proclamation. Police Chief Katrina Thompson encouraged victims of domestic violence, and others such as Beth Hutchins told their story about the impact of domestic violence. The Winston-Salem Police Department's marked police vehicles will display a purple ribbon magnet on the vehicles throughout the month of October. Purple ribbons are also tied to the trees surrounding Corporating Plaza in commemoration of victims of domestic violence. Purple ribbons are also tied to the trees in front of the Public Safety Center, also in commemoration of domestic violence victims. This is an old photo from a previous year, but there's a large banner that's hanging on the bridge over University Parkway near Northwest Boulevard to remind passersby that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We would also like to thank the local television, the print media, radio stations for informing our community about the impact of domestic violence. Please look for our domestic violence themed wrapped vehicle as it travels from place to place around the city. The vehicle is currently parked out in front of the Public Safety Center this morning. Victim assistance coordinators from our police department have been at our fair providing information and answering questions about domestic violence. Staff from Family Services, Community Intervention, and MindSight have also joined us at the fair. We asked numerous businesses in the downtown area to show their support in their efforts against domestic violence by bathing their buildings with purple lighting throughout the month of October. And we would like to thank, this is a list of the businesses that decided to participate this year. So we would like to thank all of them for their support this year. Next up, I'll introduce Lieutenant Michael Cartwell.
Good morning. I'm Mike Cardwell. I'm a lieutenant with the Winston-Salem Police Department's Criminal Investigation Division. This morning, I'd like to announce that we are beginning an internet campaign focusing on unsolved homicides for 2016. We worked in partnership with our city marketing division to make individual videos that will focus on the case specific to release out to the public in a hope that it will generate new leads to help to solving these crimes. Today's video is going to be our first for the 2016 unsolved homicides, and it is 66-year-old Walter Lee Odom.
On July 31st, 2016, police were called to a house at 3615 Hemlock Drive near the intersection of Akron Drive and US 52. A man who lived in the house had returned from out of town and reported finding bullet holes in the walls and windows. Police entered the house and found the body of the man's roommate, Walter Lee Odom, lying on the living room floor. He had been shot in the leg and had bled to death. Odom, 66, worked at a nearby gas station and convenience store. Security cameras indicate he left work at 2:20 a.m. on the morning of July 30th. Police believe he walked directly home and that the shooting happened a short time later.
We canvassed the area around Mr. Odom's home the night of the incident, and in the few days afterwards we also went back and did another canvass. We did find two neighbors that reported hearing gunshots. Around, one says 2:30, one says she thinks it was around 3:30, 3:45. You know, they wasn't exactly sure of the times.
Outside the home, investigators found shell casings from two different rifles that they believed were fired into the house at close range. Several of the bullets penetrated the walls and windows. One hit Odom. Investigators believe the shooting may be related to a prior argument involving someone who did not live at the house, but who had visited there.
We do not believe that Mr. Odom was the intended target at all here. I think it's just basically a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, which unfortunately that happened to be his home.
In addition to the shell casings, detectives investigating the shooting recovered bullet fragments inside the house and turned them over for analysis.
Although we have recovered physical evidence in this case, we are asking anyone with information to come forward. Mr. Odom was truly an innocent victim, so therefore we are asking anyone, please, if you have information, call us.
If you or someone you know has information about the shooting at 3615 Hemlock Drive and the death of Walter Odom, please call Crime Stoppers at 727-2800. You do not have to give your name. If your information leads to an arrest, you may be eligible for a cash reward.
But it's important to know that our strongest tool is our relationship with the community and the community's willingness to come forth and provide us with information in solving these crimes. We hope that releasing these videos individually out to the community, it will focus on those cases and will prompt someone with that one puzzle piece that we need to come forth so we can solve these cases. The video itself will be posted on our city's YouTube channel and will be highlighted obviously in this production. I'd like to thank City Marketing for helping us develop this video and helping us to gather these leads. Are there any questions? Our intention, as we work on these cases, our intent is to make a video for each unsolved case. For 2016, we have 6 cases that we'll be highlighting. At the same time, we're still working those cases, so some of those may be solved. The difference between our videos in the past few years, where we've focused on all the unsolved videos or cases at one time, is that we're hoping by isolating these to individual cases that it may prompt more calls to us, more of a focus.
Kind of mentioned it there, but how important is it to individualize these cases to get it out there again?
Well, it's important for us to solve these cases. It's important to the community. It's important to the victims' families and friends. So we're hoping that by doing the individual videos that we'll be able to focus on those cases, which will draw in individuals from the community, from this area, to watch the entire video and hopefully prompt them again to contact us with that valid piece of information that we may need to prosecute.
And how far back of cold cases will you all be going?
We have had a campaign for the past few years of doing video releases on unsolved homicides. Right now we're focusing on 2016. This is the first video for this year. We plan on working with our marketing personnel to do a video every few weeks, so we give time for each video to be showcased for the community to be able to see that individual case and help us focus on that. So throughout the next few months you'll see us releasing individual videos.
Can you talk about how this is just a different and maybe more compelling tactic? Because, you know, when you see a flyer, that's one thing, but when you see a video and you hear from officers, that may hit you in a different way.
Well, as we all know, media, social media, YouTube videos, just internet outreach to the community in general is a strong tool for law enforcement to prompt tips. These videos will be out there. Even if we don't solve them in the next couple of weeks, they'll still be there. So if someone hears about an unsolved homicide and they want to find out, well, what happened? What do I need to know about that case? The video will be there for them to look at. A flyer is going to be limited to how we put it out to the public, and it's a short time frame that it's in the public eye. So we're hoping that this way that we're releasing these videos will keep the information out there and will prompt responses.
What about the results for the videos that you guys have had in the past? When you put these out, do you get an influx of tips? Have they led to any sort of unsolved homicides?
We do get tips. We do track the number of tips that come in, as well as how often the videos are viewed. We do have an unsolved homicide right now that we're working on because of the tips. We have a couple of cases that we're close to making an arrest on, and once that happens, we'll make those releases. But right now, it's not where we can release the information. But it has been productive. It does help us. It's important that the community continues to reach out to us with information when they have it. It's important for us to solve those cases. It's important for the family. It's important for the community that we solve. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for your time. Now I'm going to introduce Investigator Horsley, who's going to talk about auto break-in prevention.
Good morning. Again, I'm Investigator Stephen Horsley. I'm the District Investigator for District 3 in Patrol. What I've got playing right now to begin this is a video of two vehicles at a house that was caught, and I wanted to represent what we've been talking about, and I'll reiterate once we watch it. As you can see, the vehicle on the left, nothing of value is in there. The vehicle doors are locked. He quickly moves on. The second gentleman went to the one on the right, and it instantly is unlocked, so they start going through it. This is an example that we've been trying to illustrate for several months now, that locking your doors is the key to prevention. Double checking and locking your doors is the key to prevention. Also, if you utilize a key fob to lock your doors, make sure that the doors will continue to stay locked. Mechanical devices can fail, electronic to mechanics can fail. There could be something preventing it from completely locking, therefore the door doesn't completely lock. So even if you use the key fob, double check. The only way to know is to go back and double check. Also, again, as we've said, don't leave your valuables in the vehicle. As you saw from the first vehicle, there's nothing of value that was left visible, so there was no reason to try to smash a window, which we talked about last month about being a last resort. So therefore, what you want to do is leave, that's a perfect illustration of not leaving your valuables in the vehicle. The other thing too is if you are going to leave something of value in the vehicle, leave it secured in a place that can't be visible. Don't make yourself a target by leaving something open in plain sight, such as a purse, an iPad, firearms, jewelry, whatever it would be, that would give them an opportunity to take the opportunity and try to smash your window out. Again, this is still an ongoing thing, but 97% of this would probably be solved and would be stopped if we would just lock our doors. Is there any other questions?
We had the attempted auto break-ins yesterday on South Stratford that led to the escalation of shots being fired when the would-be victim confronted
Yes, sir.
the suspect. We do these stories a lot of times. People say, I'm glad that I didn't realize something was going on, because then things could have gotten worse. It's the same thing one of the victims told me yesterday. What advice would you have for people if they're thinking they see something, they're thinking, I need to do something now or these guys are going to get away? Because
The first thing you need to do is call us, because you don't know where this is going to escalate. You might or might not have the training and experience to deal with the situation as we do. So the first thing you do is pick up the phone and call 911.
anything that, in case they are worried that the guys are going to get out of the area before you guys can get there, what should they be looking for?
Be the best witness you can. Observe. Don't confront, observe. Allow us to make the confrontation. Observe from a safe distance to protect yourself from the situation. Is there any further questions?
Can you talk to us again a little bit about the key fobs you mentioned earlier?
If you use an electronic key fob, we all use electronic devices. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that Some of them will be on a delay, and if you push it, it's supposed to delay to let you time to shut the doors and everything. The best advice I can give with the key fob is make sure that you double check that the actual mechanical device locked the door, that the door was actually secured. You might have left the seat belt in it. Kids might have left small items, food items that cause the door not to actually secure, and you will tell us that they're secured and you'll believe they're secured, and in your mind they're secured and they should be secured. But little things like that, and the only way to know for sure is to go physically check the doors after you've locked them and secure them that way. Are there any other questions? If there are no other questions, I'd like to call Assistant Chief Weaver back up here for closing remarks.
Thank you. Are there any further questions on any of the topics we've discussed for the police department? Any other topics? Okay. Then we'd like to invite you to two events that we're hosting within the month of October. The first is Tea Time for Women. It's on October 12th from 6 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. at the Enrichment Center, 1006 South Marshall Street. That's at the Enrichment Center, 1006 South Marshall Street. You have the opportunity to come and join some of the women of the Winston-Salem Police Department for tea and cookies and discuss items related to self-awareness and also safety tips. The second event is Coffee with a Cop. We've been doing this for a number of months now, and it's been real successful with our citizens speaking with our officers and just having a chat over a cup of coffee. That event is October 14th from 9 a.m. until noon. October 14th from 9 a.m. until noon. That's at the Sedge Garden Community Center at 401 Robbins Road. 401 Robbins Road in the Sedge Garden community. And this is a chance, once again, for our citizens and officers to just develop relationships, discuss concerns in a relaxed setting while enjoying a free cup of coffee. We'd appreciate your attendance, and all Republicans invited to both of those events. If there's nothing further for the police department, I'd like to invite Assistant Fire Chief Tad Byram to discuss items related to the fire department. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Weaver. Good morning. My name is A.T. Byram. I'm Assistant Fire Chief with the Winston-Salem Fire Department. First of all, I'd like to start off by recognizing City Council and Mayor Joines for proclaiming October to be Fire Prevention Month in Winston-Salem. The Winston-Salem Fire Department for the month of October has one line of duty death to recognize, and that was Assistant Chief John Bryant Goforth. His date of death was October 29th, 1956. Chief Goforth became the 6th firefighter to be killed in the line of duty with the Winston-Salem Fire Department. An alarm was received from the box on 14th and English Streets at 5:30 p.m. Upon arrival, Engine 1 found a 2-story brick apartment building with a fire in the upstairs apartment. Chief Goforth and his driver, James Parham, arrived shortly after the pumper. Chief Goforth was on the balcony and ordered firefighter Charles H. Charlie Adams to cut a hole in the floor. After the hole was cut, firefighter Adams came out of the apartment and found Chief Goforth lying at the bottom of the stairs. Parham and Adams tried several times to resuscitate the chief, but when their efforts proved useless, they loaded him into the command car and rushed him to the city hospital. Chief Goforth died on the way to the hospital as a result of a heart attack. The Winston-Salem Fire Department would also like to recognize and extend our condolences to the Triple Community Fire Department. On Monday, they lost firefighter Jason Keith Hensley. He was struck by a motor vehicle while clearing debris from the roadway. And this has been reported in the media. And at this time, we would also like to pause and take a moment of silence to recognize all the firefighters who have given their lives in the month of October. Thank you. Next, senior community educator Sabrina Stowe is going to discuss fire safety as it's related to Fire Prevention Month.
Good morning, Sabrina Stowe, Winston-Salem Fire Department. As Chief Fireman has mentioned, this is Fire Prevention Month. We're also in the middle of Fire Prevention Week, but for the Winston-Salem Fire Department, we do celebrate the entire month of October in celebration of just fire prevention. So I just want to briefly go over some things that we wanted to highlight for the month. We will follow the NFPA's theme, which is every second count, plan 2 ways out. So we do want to talk about escape planning. We want to make sure that we reiterate how important it is to make a fire escape plan. The time to do that is when there is no problem, when there is no emergency. So make sure that you do have a plan of escape. Include all of your family members in making that plan. Also include, if you have pets, you want to make sure that you include them not in the planning of it, but you want to make sure that you plan to get your pets out as well. It'd be a good idea to post a drawing of your escape plan to indicate 2 ways out of every room. Another thing you want to remember, if you have guests in your home, if you have kids that are going to be there for sleepovers, it's a good idea to go over that escape plan with them, because of course things are going to happen when you least expect it. So you want to make sure that everyone in the home is going to be able to get out. Also, you want to practice your escape plan. Doesn't do any good to have a plan if you never practice it. Recommend that you do that at least twice a year, once during the daytime and once at night. Things look differently at different times of the year, different times of the day, so you want to make sure that that plan does include a nighttime practice. Also, you want to designate a meeting place outside of the home. Once you've escaped, that needs to be away from the house. If there's a fire, you don't want to be too close to the house. If it's a mailbox, if it's a next door neighbor, if it's across the street, everyone needs to know what that plan is and be able to execute that plan. In the event of a fire, you want to follow the plan. Don't deviate from what you've already planned. If there is smoke in the house, you want to make sure you get low under that smoke and you want to crawl your way to safety. If you're in the house and you're not sure if the fire is on the other side, you want to feel the door with the back of your hand. If the door is hot, it's probably going to be fire on the other side of that. You don't want to risk that. That's when you need to go to your second route of escape, which is probably going to be a window. Definitely go outside to your meeting place and then call for help. And you never want to return to a burning building. That needs to be a part of your escape plan. You do not go back inside. Also want to talk about smoke alarms. We do still have our smoke alarm program. We want to reiterate that. We do have smoke alarms available for any resident in the city that needs those. You should have working smoke alarms in each of your bedrooms, one immediately outside of the sleeping area, and also one on each level of the home. You need to test the smoke alarms at least once a month to make sure that they are still working. Change your batteries twice a year. Good time to do that is when you change your clocks, change your batteries. That is a theme to do that. November 5th is going to be when we change our clocks this year. So you want to put that on your calendar to make sure you remember to change it, to change your batteries. You want to replace your smoke alarms every 10 years. That is about the life expectancy for a smoke alarm. If you do need smoke alarms, please give us a call, 336-773-7965, and we will schedule someone to come out and put those up for you. Also want to talk about home heating. Although it's going to be 85 degrees today, it is eventually going to get a little colder with fall being here. I'm sorry. We want to go over general fire safety tips first. We talk about cooking a lot because that's the #1 problem that we have with fires that originate in the kitchen. They usually start from unattended cooking. So we want to make sure that we tell you over and over and over, stay in the kitchen when you're frying, grilling, or broiling. If you leave the kitchen, please turn off the stove. You want to keep your flammable items away from the cooktop, towels, bags, paper, your grocery bags, things of that nature. Also, keep your kids and your pets at least 3 feet away from the cooking area. Learn how to use a fire extinguisher. good to have them, but it doesn't do any good if you don't know how to use it. We also train in fire extinguisher usage. You can call our office as well, or go on our website and schedule for us to come out to teach you how to use a fire extinguisher, also help you in placing the fire extinguisher in the right place in your kitchen, or you can just use the stovetop fire suppression canisters that we talk about as well. Now we can go on to the home heating tips. The key thing to remember about your space heaters, if you're using those, they need space. Make sure that you're giving at least 3 feet of space around those space heaters for anything that's combustible, your paper, clothing, furniture. You want to make sure that you're giving them adequate enough space to work properly. Always plug your space heaters directly into a wall socket, and make sure that you're unplugging those when they're not being used. Never use gasoline in a kerosene heater, very important. And also turn those off when you leave the room or when you're going to bed. And definitely always use those products or appliances according to the manufacturer's instructions. Lastly, just want to talk about our partnership with Safe Kids. We do monthly car seat checks. Our next one is going to be coming up on Thursday, October 26th, always 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Generally, we do that in the Babies R Us parking lot at the Haynes Common Shopping Center. If it rains or if it's too cold, we will move that to Fire Station number 2 on Somerset Drive. Appointments are recommended. You can call 336-716-0649 in order to make an appointment, or you may also just stop by to do that as well, or you can contact us here at the fire department. My direct number is 336-773-7965. Any questions about any of the things that we've gone over? If not, then we will have Mel Sadler from Emergency Management to talk about their presentations.
Thank you, Sabrina. Good morning. My name is Mel Sadler. I'm the Director of Emergency Management for the City of Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. Today we're going to have 2 speakers who are going to speak about some topics of interest what we hope will be topics of interest for you. I've mentioned in the past our agency works in conjunction with a number of other agencies in a strong partnership relationship. One of those strong partners is the Forsyth County Health Department. They've been a strong partner for a long time, and we've worked together with them on a number of situations, and we're going to hear from the director of the Forsyth County Health Department, Mr. Marlon Hunter. He's going to talk to us for a few minutes about flu season and the vaccinations that are available. Following Mr. Hunter will be Leah Cordell, one of the emergency management coordinators for our office. She's going to talk about a tremendous training opportunity that's coming up this coming weekend, and we hope everybody will be interested and want to take advantage of it. Mr. Hunter.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Marlon Hunter, and I'm the Director of the Forsyth County Department of Public Health, and I just want to start by saying thank you to Mel Sadler, and thank you to all of you, our police chief and fire department. And over at Public Health, we work to improve health and save lives in our community every year, and we can't do it without you. And so I just wanted to start off by saying, thank you for your partnership and for your support for local public health. And today I'm here to talk about a very common topic, and that is the seasonal flu. In the United States each year, on average between 5 and 20% of the population will get the flu. More than 200,000 people are hospitalized each year from complications associated with the flu. Our flu season is often unpredictable. Last year, we were off to a slow start this time of the year, but by the end of the year, things ramped up rather quickly. And so we just want to make sure that our older, more seasoned generation, young children, pregnant women, as well as individuals with pre-existing health conditions, in particular, get a flu shot because they are at higher risk for contracting the flu. In North Carolina, last year there were 219 flu deaths in our state. In Forsyth County in particular, there were 8 deaths, 7 were adults, and 1 child. And according to the Centers for Disease Control, on average about 36,000 Americans die each year from the flu, and a large percentage of those die from complications associated with the flu. Flu prevention. For flu prevention, we want you to, number one, all of us get a flu shot. And that is still the most and the best, practice and the most preventable way for all of us to protect ourselves and our family members from contracting the flu. We want you to, secondly, take steps to protect yourself and your family members by washing your hands multiple times each day. You would be surprised that a lot of folks choose not to do that. And we want folks to cover your cough, cover your sneeze, and when you're sick, stay home from work. And when your children are sick, keep your children home as well. If you go to the doctor and they prescribe antivirals like Tamiflu, please take it. It really helps to reduce the length of time you may suffer from those complications associated with the flu or the flu itself. Who should get the flu vaccine? Everyone older than 6 months of age should get the flu each year, and we also have a high-dose vaccine available for those over 65 years of age, and that's just simply a dose that's a bit stronger than your typical flu vaccine that we offer up to everyone each year. And then finally, where can you go to get a flu shot? Well, nowadays you can get a flu shot most anywhere. You can get one at Walmart or your local drugstore, CVS or Walgreens. But at the Forsyth County Health Department, we offer those shots for free. So if you're in the area, please stop by the Health Department, Clinic 3. No appointment is necessary. And our clinic hours are Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have a late night clinic on Thursday, so you may stop by at 9:30 a.m. and come as late as 8 p.m. And then, of course, Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Any questions? Wonderful. That means everybody has either received a flu shot or going to go out and get one. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Leah Cordell with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Emergency Management Department. And last month during the September media briefing, we discussed September being the National Preparedness Month. In the last several weeks, unfortunately, the United States has suffered major damage from Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, Marie, and Nate. Mexico has suffered devastating earthquakes in September. One of the deadliest active shooter events in modern U.S. history happened in Las Vegas last week. A tornado touched down in one of our western counties last week, or earlier this week, I should say. California is currently suffering from large wildfires. Why do we always think it's going to happen somewhere else? Now is the time to prepare yourself to take care of yourself, your family, and your neighbors. One of the ways that we're assisting people to prepare themselves is offering the basic CERT class. We're going to have one this weekend starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, October 13th through the 15th. It'll run 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day at the Little Creek Neighborhood Center. That's located at 610 Foxcroft Drive in Winston-Salem. It's over off of Jonestown Road. The Winston-Salem Forsyth County Office of Emergency Management is offering this course. It's a 21-hour basic training course. Disasters can severely restrict, overwhelm emergency response resources and leave communities cut off from outside emergency support. CERTs are trained to take care of themselves and help others in their communities for the first 3 days following a disaster. Some of the course outline we go over is disaster preparedness, fire safety, emergency operations part 1 and part 2, light search and rescue operations, CERT organization, disaster psychology, and terrorism in CERT. We have classroom instruction and all the previous subjects mentioned on the last slide. We also have hands-on training. Medical ops training talks about treating life-threatening conditions, triage, public health considerations, establishing medical treatment areas, conducting head-to-toe assessments, treating burns, wound cares, treating fractures, sprains and strains, nasal injuries, treating cold-related injuries, treating cold heat-related injuries, and animal bites and stings. In fire safety, we talk about fire chemistry, fire and utility hazards, fire size-up considerations, suppressing small fires, firefighting resources, fire suppression safety, and hazardous materials. We also go over light search and rescue, safety during search and rescue operations, conducting interior and exterior operations, conducting rescue operations. And then on the last day of class, students will participate in a disaster scenario where they will be able to put what they have learned during the 3 days of class to the test and work as a team. And you can go to readyforsyth.org to register for the class. And we've got a video coming up.
The role of a CERT person basically is you take care of yourself, you take care of your family, then you take care of the community.
We're not going to go running into a burning house and pull people out. That's not our job. But we are there to organize and to assist people as we can, to triage to some extent of those that are more critical than others, so when the first responders do get there, they're in a better position to quickly help the people.
Even though I was 78, I took training because I wanted to develop a full-blown disaster plan for Salem Town.
I'm sure CERTS was very involved in Florida and Texas, assisting with that disaster relief, and all of us think, well, it happened somewhere else, but it can happen here too.
Are you ready to go? Could you go? You know, could you take your kids? Do you have a plan? Where would you go? You know, these are things that we teach in CERT.
Consider taking CERT training because you've just watched 2 terrible disasters of hurricanes, and every person needs to be prepared for a disaster, and this will help you be better prepared.
Everyone thinks, well, it's not going to happen to us, but it really can happen to us. So having some basic CERT training could really help you take care of your family and help you help your neighborhood in a time of disaster.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about Forsyth CERT, the CERT program, or any other questions about emergency management? Okay, this concludes our October media briefing. Have a great day.